Hello there and welcome to April's Tea Club. I'm Shona and I'm filming this from our lovely nest in Worthing. So Bird and Blend Tea Co have 14 shops all over the country and this is where it all happens. So we call it our nest. So today I'm going to be looking at the 3 different subscription boxes which are part of our Tea Club. They are the Flavor Explorer box, we have a Gourmet Box, and we also have a Caffeine Free Box. So I'm going to talk you through what you're going to be getting this month in each of those boxes. So we're going to start with Flavor Explorer. Now, Flavor Explorer is a box just specifically for people who want to try new teas and are very adventurous, want to try different things maybe that the average person might not consider. So I actually really love the 3 teas in this box, so I'm going to talk you through them. The first one we have is chocolate digestives. I'm going to make that up into a tea in a minute. We also have our raspberry apple pie tea, which is a green tea, and we have Easter eggs nests, which is a bit of a tongue twister, and it's Easter this month, so it's a perfect tea that we can have over the Easter holidays. So let's start with chocolate digestives. So if you are coming into one of our stores or you are getting teas online, you might want to try something a bit different. You've always had black teas, maybe a Earl Grey occasionally. Something like the chocolate digestive is a great way to start trying new flavours. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to brew this up in our Brewdini here. So the Brewdini is what we use in store all the time to make tea. So I'm going to pop 1 perfect teaspoon in there. I'm going to add my boiling water in there, and then I'm going to brew it for 4 minutes because I'm going to add milk to it. Quite often I might, if I was having a black tea without milk, I might have it with 3 minutes, but in this case I'm going to try doing it with for 4 minutes. So let's have a look and see what we've got inside the chocolate digestives tea. So it has cocoa shells, cocoa nibs, it has some licorice root in, which may sound strange, but it's actually like a natural sweetener, and it's traditionally used before sugar or refined sugar was around. Historically, licorice root was used to sweeten things, and it also has in there something that you may see often used in curries, for example, is fenugreek. So if you've ever smelt fenugreek, if you try baking it, if you think about maple syrup, for example, when you taste it, when you smell it, it actually smells like maple syrup. So we've added that in there as well to sweeten it. Okay, so while we're waiting for that to brew, let me talk you through a couple of the other ones that are in the Flavor Explorer box. So the raspberry apple pie is quite an unusual one. That one is our one from our back catalogue. So we had a lot of teas and sometimes they get discontinued because we have so many new flavours coming out. So this one is a lovely green tea. It has raspberry, freeze-dried raspberries, it has apple pieces in there, and it's a green tea called Chun Mi, which is an unusual one that I hadn't heard of actually until today. So it's also got rosehip in there and some hibiscus, which will give it a lovely red colour. And the other tea that we've got in the Flavor Explorer box, I'm going to talk through in a bit more detail, which is our Easter egg nest. So obviously it's Easter, we want to try some different Easter teas. So that one is really, really good. And again, from our back catalogue, it contains vegan marshmallows, so it's really creamy, and it also has some puffed rice. So it's got that kind of like Easter egg nest taste there, as well as cocoa shells and cocoa nibs. So the chocolate digestives is ready now. So I'm going to pop that on my cup. And what I love about chocolate digestives is that it's like when you want to have lots of biscuits at the end of the day, but you think, oh, I can't really, I've eaten half a packet. So I'm just going to put some milk in there, and I'm a bit of a stickler. I like to have different milks depending on what tea I have. So in this case, I'm going to use some oat milk because I think it brings out a biscuity taste. And I'm going to add that in. That looks great. And then I'm going to dip my biscuit in. So I have got a biscuit, but it's not a chocolate digestive, it's a digestive. So I'm going to just dip that in and see, and then taste my chocolate digestive tea. Yum. Oh, you can't beat a chocolate digestives tea. It's really good. So we're moving on now to the Gourmet Box. So the first one on the Gourmet Box is our Great British Cuppa. So we have two classic teas. If you like a good English breakfast tea, this is the one for you. It's got some Yunnan tea in it, as well as Assam and Sri Lankan. So it's really, really good. And it's just a classic blend. And if you want to just have a cup of tea, morning or night, that's absolutely the one to go for. We've also got in here peach and elderflower Bellini, which is an oolong tea, something a little bit different, but quite classic. Oolongs are really, really, really good. And we've also got, because it's Easter, the same tea that I described in our Flavour Explorer, the lovely Easter egg nest. So I'm going to make that into a latte. So let's get ready. So I've got my latte. Now latte is Italian for milk. It doesn't mean coffee. What I've done is I've just made a very milky tea. So I've got a really strong tea, made it into, with milk, and made it into this very strong milky tea. And then I'm gonna add cream on top of my tea, and then I'm gonna add some cocoa powder on top. So as it's Easter, let's go. Ooh, yes, look at that. So all of the good stuff. And then I'm gonna add some cocoa powder on top there, look at that. And that is gonna be absolutely delicious. Now, when I taste it, I'm gonna get some on my nose, I just know it. Yum, that's absolutely gorgeous. So there was vegan cream as well, vegan marshmallows and vegan cream. Okay, so last but not least, we have our Caffeine Free Box, and we've got some delicious caffeine-free teas for you. And I think it's a bit of a flavour explorer in a way. So we've got the Rooibos Earl Grey, we've got our mint choc Rooibos, and then we've got our toffee chai. So some really lovely flavours in there, and they're all Rooibos, but they've all got different flavours. And I think that's what's so great about Rooibos, that it does taste very different depending what flavours you add to it. So, for example, the Rooibos Earl Grey has bergamot, as all Earl Greys do. And because Rooibos is very, very porous, it absorbs flavours very well. It's a bit like black tea in that respect. So quite often people will come into the store, when I worked in the Brighton store, and they'll buy like 300 grams at a time because they wanted to have an Earl Grey, but they hadn't found anything that actually was good, but they couldn't have caffeine. So it really is good. And we've also got our mint choc Rooibos, which I'm going to make now into a delicious cold brew. So mint choc Rooibos, if you like mint choc ice cream, I would recommend this one. It's particularly good in the summertime as a cold brew. That's what I'm going to do today. It's got cocoa shells in there, it's got mint, and we are just going to have a look. So I don't know if you've got a cold brew, but if you haven't, this is how we do cold brews. They're not to do with making using any kettles or anything. We don't put hot water in it. We literally put either water or fizzy water, lemonade, or in this case, I'm going to do coconut milk. So I find the coconut milk kind of gives it an ice creamy type taste. So we're going to add 4 to 6 of these perfect teaspoons into my cold brew bottle. Is that 4? Is that 5? I think so. 6. And then I'm just going to add some coconut milk to it, shake it up, and then add that to my cold brew bottle. And then I've not got quite enough to fill the whole bottle, but that's fine, because what I'll do is I'll brew it up strong and then I'll add ice to it. And then I'm going to leave that in my fridge, or in my fridge door, like that, probably add a bit more milk. And then in the morning, I will have a delicious drink. So, lucky me, I already have some that I prepared earlier. So you can really see the difference of how it has gone a lot redder in colour, because it's been brewing overnight. And I'm going to make a little taster sample for me. And I'd add ice, and then I'd add this over. But I'm just going to do a little taster just now to see how it's come out. Oh, that's really, really good. So mint choc Rooibos, give it a whirl, either as a hot tea or as a cold brew. And last but not least, in our caffeine free box, I've got toffee chai. Now, toffee chai, as I say, is a Rooibos, but it also contains in it some cardamom, which is one of my favourite herbs and spices. It also has some cocoa nibs in there, some cinnamon and some ginger. So it's got a chai sort of aspects, but it's also sweet as well. So really delicious and lovely as a hot tea. And you can have that as a latte like we did with the Easter egg nest as well. That'd be really delicious. So yeah, I hope you enjoy trying out all the lovely teas from the Tea Club this month. And I hope you all have a lovely Easter. Please follow on and look forward to seeing you all in May.